morning. Welcome to another session of the Rousseau Report. I'm your host, Dennis Rousseau. New or pre-owned? I believe we can all concur, whether it's real estate, automobiles, aircraft, RVs, retail, all these markets are in the tank and will only get worse. Yet there are opportunities to come out of this. Just recently, a 10-year-old office building sold for 30 cents on the dollar. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Commercial real estate. I'm kidding. If you're an aircraft buyer weighing new against pre-owned, there are some opportunities and things to consider. Aircraft markets today offer some great airplanes that were designed based on customer review boards, as well as success achieved with earlier models. The Gulfstream G700, part of the Model 7 line that includes the 500 and 600, received FAA certification this past March and is far superior to any other aircraft with its 7,700 nautical mile range at 0.85 Mach, or 6,600 nautical miles at 0.9 Mach. Full fly-by-wire, advanced avionics, and a 2,800-foot cabin at 41,000 feet. 4-zone cabin configuration, and the list goes on. All for around $75 million. The Falcon 6X, certified in August of 23, has the largest cabin in class, featuring a 6-foot 5-inch cabin height with a 3-zone configuration, an advanced digital flight control and diagnostic system, 30 cabin windows, and flaperons that can be used as flaps, speed brakes, or ailerons that can be used separately or in combination. Price point new, $55 million plus options. And then we have a new aircraft in development, the G400, with its 2-zone cabin, 4,000 nautical mile range at 0.85 Mach, Pratt & Whitney 800 series engines, price point new, we're guessing, if it's still in development, high 30s to low 40s, considering the G500 is priced in the mid 40s. The newest Gulfstream in flight testing, the G800, has a 7,800 nautical mile range at 0.85 Mach, or 7,000 miles at 0.9, albeit back to a 3-zone cabin. And from all indications, it will be priced in the low 70s. And of course, waiting in the wings, no pun intended, we have the upcoming Falcon 10X and the Global 8000, both of which will probably be at a $75 million price point. As a side note, Bombardier stated that Global 7500s will be able to be retrofitted to 8000s. Then why buy an 8000? We're going to circle back to that dynamic in a minute. Before we do, think about these numbers for a minute and factor in, if you purchase one of these models today, you're probably 2 to 4 years out from actual delivery, whereas pre-owned, you'll take delivery in about 60 days. Let's also consider for a new aircraft, you'll be making progress payments starting the day you sign the letter of intent, and let's use $50 million as a round number. You're going to put down 10% on signing the purchase agreement. And this is when the OEM will start to order parts and materials, and through each stage, you, the buyer, are funding the build process. So within the first 6 months, you've paid $15 million. A few months later, you'll make another progress payment until 2 years from signing. You've paid your $50 million plus escalation in most cases. Spread out over 2 years in this example, what's your cost of capital? When you place your signature on the bottom line for a new aircraft, there are a myriad of advantages. You pick interior configuration, as well as the fabrics and colors that suit your tastes. You get the exact equipment specific to your mission, plus flight crew and maintenance training are included in the purchase price. Keeping in mind, one type rating alone can cost $100,000 plus. And equally as important, you have warranties for the next 3 to 5 years that cover the aircraft from nose to tail and everything in between. You just can't have it right now. You have to wait. If you're hesitating and thinking you'll make a decision next year, remember, new prices don't go down. They only go up. Pre-owned prices go down by virtue of market depreciation. Let's use the Gulfstream G550 from entry into service through end of production to better illustrate. The 550 entered service in 2003 at an average cost new plus or minus $40 million. And over the next 20 years, 625 aircraft were built, ending production at a price point of $52 million. Now, the 2004 year model that cost $41 million new is now selling for $12.6 million, which demonstrates market depreciation. And keep in mind, the overall pre-owned market is still a little inflated. The successor to the G550 is the G600, which is full fly-by-wire, has a 6,200 nautical mile range at 0.85 Mach, with a price point new of $55 million. A testament to price escalation, considering the 550 ended production in the low 50s. There are a number of buyers that purchase new every 5 years due to warranty expiration. So after 5 years, they sell and replace it with new. And this is a typical case scenario, keeping in mind, as I've said many times, we will have pre-owned markets that get out of hand due to global economic factors. And we witness an unprecedented rise in pricing, as happened in 2008, as well as 2022. But the markets will always return to normal depreciation, as seen in this example, where the pre-owned selling price was 32% higher than when the aircraft sold new. And if you purchased it in 2008 for $54.6 million and had to sell it 2 years later, you would have taken a 40% hit. Now let's go back to purchasing the aircraft new. After markets settled, these 2004 year models realized a 15% depreciation after 5 years, or $1 million per year. I would like to add, I'm not picking on the G550. This methodology can be applied to any model aircraft, and you'll see a similar scenario. Now, what happens if we keep the aircraft for 10 or 20 years? And this time, we'll use a 2004 Falcon 2000 Easy, 2004 Challenger 604, so as not to pick on a 550. After 10 years and based on pre-owned sales, and all things being equal, the 550 lost 28% or $12 million. The 2004 Falcon 2000, 55% or $14 million. And the Challenger 604, 64% or $15 million. However, at the end of 20 years, all three models lost an average 70%. Does it make more sense to purchase new versus pre-owned? Or at what point should you purchase pre-owned? Let's return to the 550-600 models. The 550 offers a state-of-the-art avionics suite with 4 LCDs and built on the Honeywell Primus Epic platform, rebranded Gulfstream Plainview. It has a 3-zone cabin with forward galley and crew rest to accommodate a 6,600 nautical mile mission at 0.8 Mach. Keep that in mind. The G600 also has a very comfortable 3-zone cabin, Gulfstream Symmetry cockpit, also based on the Honeywell Primus Epic platform, and has a 6,200 nautical mile range at 0.85 Mach versus the 0.80 on the 550. Taking a closer look at the two cockpits, it's difficult to tell the difference at quick glance. However, on closer inspection, the G600 is full fly-by-wire and features a side stick controller versus a conventional yoke and mechanical flight system. Both have head-up display, enhanced vision system. The engines are different, with the 600 being powered by Pratt & Whitney, the 550 by Rolls-Royce. Due to the fact the 600 is a clean sheet design, the cabin is taller and wider and has a cabin altitude 1,000 feet lower than the 550, and the cabin windows are 20% larger on the 600. Conversely, the G550 has greater baggage volume and a 6,600 nautical mile range at 0.80 Mach. Tax implications aside, which model makes more sense, and should you go with new or pre-owned? For the Rousseau Report, I'm your host, Dennis Rousseau, and stay tuned because in our next session, we're going to go into the anatomy of the sale. Thanks for tuning in.